Madume ka gae, nna ke Kwena Moabelo. Batsweletši ba difilimi ba re ga gona dibaka tša go bontšha mešomo ya bona mo gae. Ebile se se tliša hlokego ya difilimi tše maAfrika Borwa ba ka di kwešišang. Ba bangwe ba re kgwebo ya difilimi e tletše fela ka difilimi tša mošamawatle. Good evening and welcome. Filmmakers are frustrated by the treatment that they are receiving at home, with preference given to Western films.
Badiri ba difilimi mo Afrika Borwa ba batlana le ditheo tse ba tla bontshang bokgoni le botaki jwa bone. Ga itse gore ditheo kgotsa dikanale tseo ga di yo gotlhelele. Ke fela gore palo ya tsona e kwa tlase, talente le dikgang tse di tla phatlalatswang tsone ke ntletse.
We don't have the avenues to show film.
These local films have to compete on an international level.
International content producers, they always want to dump their content on the African channels and African television and African cinema.
Setheo sa difilimi mo Afrika Borwa se simolotswe ka dingwaga tsa bo 1895. Leina le Carl Hertz ke la mangwe a golagangwang le difilimi tsa ntlha go bontshiwa mo nageng mo toropong ya Johannesburg. Gompieno boswa jono ke boikgantsho jwa batlhagisi badiragatsi le setheo sa difilimi. Ke mang a ka lebelang tsotsi e kileng ya latlhela Afrika Borwa ka setlhoeng fa ne e kgapela sekgele sa Academy Award for Foreign Language ka ngwaga wa 2006. Ka fa tlase ga botsamaisi jwa ga Gavin Hood, sekgele se ke sa tse dingwe di le dintsintsi se se tshwantsho se se di gapileng.
O batlang?
Down sa rai rengwe. Futsek down sa rai rengwe.
Okay.
Blom. Blom. Blom.
Difilimi tsa Afrika Borwa di le dintsi di gapile dikgele tsa boditšhabatšhaba e seng fela ditshwantsho tse di bogelwang kwa di-cinema. Motshameko wa television wa Yizo o tlhagisitsweng ke setheo sa Bomb Shelter le sona se beile Afrika Borwa mo mmepeng fa se ne se tlhola tse dingwe kwa dinageng di tshwana le Japan, France, Europa gareng ga tse dingwe.
Welcome to paradise.
We call this your paradise. Ne? This is your paradise. Inkinga wena ufana skin.
Oh. Why am I skinny, dog? Am I skinny? Huh? Hey, come here!
Angel!
Do I look skinny, huh?
Hey. It's my place. Stop shouting like you're the boss. Sorry. Come with me.
Wandile Molebatsi a re bokgoni bo teng mo nageng e seng bone fela. Go santse go le gontsi go Afrika Borwa e tshwanetseng ke go aroganya le lefatshe.
There's so much that people want to know about South Africa, you know. It's not just Mandela, you know. That people want to know how are young people surviving. Like, I mean, the Fees Must Fall thing on its own is a very recent example of the kind of interest there is around the world.
Baithuti ba re ba na le kgatlhego e kgolo mo go phatlhalatseng maitemogelo a bona ka mokgwa wa ditshwantsho.
Ngithanda kakhulu film and in a story which I believe is of no thethwa apha South Africa. And ezinye zithethiwe but not ngalendlela ziyiyo abantu bayazama uzilungisa phana pha but mina ngikholelwa uba ndifuna uzithetha ngalendlela ziyiyo ndichazela abantu bethu.
Sonke sinama idea afanayo but it's about how wena ubeka ngakhona ebantwini.
I think ditori tsa rona batho ba bantsi ga di bolelwe ka ntlha e siameng the way rona re batlang go di bolela ka teng.
Lefelo le ka fa tlase ga botsamaisi jwa ga Mmabatho le Sello Molefe. Molefe a re ditheo di tshwana le National Broadcast Institute di a tlhokega go thusa go matlafatsa boleng jwa ditshwantsho mo nageng.
There's always a demand for content. You know, you go to the pay-per-view television channels, there's so many television stations within one package, and they're always looking for content, particularly local content.
Doug Place wa setheo sa matlomahalahala a ditshwantsho sa Ster-Kinekor a re thologelo le ketleletso ya ditshwantsho mo Afrika Borwa e ntle thata.
The local film industry is very definitely improving. We've seen much stronger box office performance on local titles. We've seen, films like Tell Me Sweet Something did, just over 2 million rand box office. A film like that, had it released 2, maybe 3 years ago, would have done half that kind of box office.
Not really my type. I was writing the great African love story. Then my boyfriend at the time left me. I just don't think I found the right guy yet.
You need to get out, meet someone. It must be like the Kalahari down there.
Oh, it hasn't been watered in a while.
Tashaka's top 5 rules for picking up men in a club. 1, if his shoes are whack, so is he. 2, make eye contact. 3, you get close enough to smell him.
The 45-foot man.
Yeah, that's not who I am. It's just what I do. What do you do?
I write.
You're a writer.
I wrote once.
4, watch him dance. And 5, check out his friends.
Did you pull us over because of the gun in the cubby hole and the drugs under the seat here? You'll never catch me alive! This is fun.
Mo katlegong e kalo e bangwe ba dira ditshwantsho ba re ga gona mafelo a le mantsi a ba ka bontshang talente le bokgoni jwa bone mo go yone.
We've got a very small slot on TV, I know. We don't have a lot of time to discuss it. But there's a legacy that we have of apartheid, where cinemas like Momamponya Mall, it's taken how long to have a mall, Kokas.
People will go and watch. But if there isn't anything, therefore there's no appetite and there's nothing that people can opt for.
Ditheo tsa puso le tsona di tshwanetse go phophothwa lekgetla. Di na le seabe se segolo mo godiseng industry ya ditshwantsho le botaki.
People like GFC, Gauteng Film Commission, KZN Film Commission are starting to encourage filmmakers to show films in other places, Go to Dobsonville Mall, set up a screen and show a film. Go to Soweto Arts Theatre and show a film, because it can't just be inside the mall. It has to change, because the reality is that audiences don't have the money necessarily to always be going to cinema.
We have seen growth in the local film industry. We'd like to see more growth and faster, and we're proud to be partnering with the likes of the NFEF, the DTI, to make sure that whoever the stakeholders are, whether they're our audience or government or investors or private money or actors or the local film industry, make sure that this thing really works for us.
Le fa gone Afrika Borwa e ka itumelela dikatlego tsa yona tse dingwe tsa tsone di tliseditse naga eno serodumo, go santse go na le dikgwetlho. Tsone di akaretsa mafelo a go bontsha ditshwantsho le go fitlhelela mafelo ao.
It is that we don't have the avenues to show film, and TV is still trumping film by leaps and bounds. I mean, on any given day, Generations, the old one, was getting 6 million viewers. And that's a weekly show. It just shows you the kind of appetite that people have to watch black stories.
Molebatsi o belela gore gongwe batho ga ba kgone go duelela boitapoloso jo.
The reality is that, unfortunately, because of the context of our country and where we come from, people don't always have money for a movie ticket. But the interest and the desire to support is there.
Fela Sello Molefe a re matlo mahalahala go tshamekiwang ditshwantsho mo gone a betisa batho ka ditshwantsho tsa kontle ntse go na le badira ditshwantsho mo nageng.
International content producers, they always want to dump their content on the African channels and African television and African cinema. We're always consuming what they're producing. And now it's about time that we consume and then take it back to them.
People like Brad Pitt or Will Smith are as popular in LA as they are in Johannesburg, as they are in Beijing. So it has universal appeal. So Hollywood content is big here. It's big on television, it's big on DVD, it's big at the movies as well.
All what you're given is this international no-name schlock, and people will go for that. But you give them local, they respond very well.
The interest is actually overwhelming sometimes because you don't know whether it's just people giving you lip service or whether it's real, you know. But the interest around the globe is very real, and it's the challenge that I feel like I'm saying the same thing again and again. But the challenge is content, you know, and is about understanding that certain markets want certain kinds of content.
Kgwetlho e nngwe ke gore setheo sa Ster-Kinekor se tshameka thata ditshwantsho tsa kwa ntle. Molebatsi a re seno se ka tswa se rotloediwa ke tshwetso ya kgwebo.
I think bothata kore they're running a business, you know, and when they look at the numbers that a black film will make, and then they look at the numbers that an Afrikaans film will make, they have to make a business decision. And unfortunately, the Afrikaans numbers are incredible. You know, opening weekend for an Afrikaans film can be in excess of R1 million.
Afrikaans content, which does particularly well because it attracts a very loyal audience.
Doug a re tshwetso ya go tshameka ditshwantsho mo matlomagalagaleng ga e tseiwe ke bona ba le nosi.
We will engage with film distributors on who we think the audience for this film is likely to be. So which cinemas do we play the film at? How long the film will play is often a determinant of how popular it is. If the cinemas are empty, then we'll take the film off and put a new film on.
Dipego tsa gore setshwantsho sa Tell Me Sweet Something se se tsamaisitsweng ke Akin Omothoso se ntshitswe ka bonako mo lebaleng se ile sa tlhola modumo gareng ga barati ba ditshwantsho. Fela Doug a re go nnile le go sa tlhaloganyane.
The film opened really widely. So traditionally a film like that would open on about 15 Ster-Kinekor screens. That's a good opening. We opened it on nearly 30. So we took it to a lot of cinemas and we played it for as long as we can. We took it off a couple of cinemas where there just wasn't an audience for it. So in that instance, Sandton City, it was the lowest performing film at Sandton City. The next lowest performing film had double the box office that week. So it doesn't make business sense for us to have an empty cinema.
Ster-Kinekor is forced to pull the film because they need to make space for the films that make money.
Wandile a re go tlhokega go tokafatsa tsela e makhubu a phatlalatswang ka yona le go netefatsa gore dikanale di nna dintsi go kgona go thaya lepatlelo le legolo le le tla kgontshang badira ditshwantsho go bontsha botaki jwa bone.
SABC le bona, they need to roll out this digital platform. And they're so excited about it because what the digital platform is going to allow small production houses is that it's going to allow us to create content and place it somewhere.
Tsela e phatlalatsang makhubu mo nageng a kgaso e pitlagane ile tsa kgaso go nna le dikanale di le dintsi tsa go gasa. Raditapo ke o mongwe wa ba etseng tlhoko tswelopele ya digital terrestrial television mo lekgotleng kgaso la Afrika Borwa. A re go nnile le tiego mo go reboleng lenane leo.
Ono tshwanetse e be ka di 17 tsa June go qetuwe huwe mono go tshetswe. Empa na ha ebile le diphephetso tse ngatanyana.
Once we move onto the digital platform, there's going to be a lot of television stations. There's going to be a lot of web television stations as well. So there's going to be plenty content demanded.
SABC 1, SABC 2, SABC 3. Ebe honale ETV. Ebe ufumana hore baby ela jwale se tletse ho ufumana batho ba sebedisang di cell phone le bona jwale ha ba sana monyetla wa ho kena mono hore melaetsa ya bona e kene mono ke mkhona ho buang ka broadbanding e le hore le bona melaetsa ya bona di batlo sebedisa le bona di cell phone ufumana di tshwantsho tsa television tsa dintho tse ngata tse fapaneng.
Digital terrestrial television ke tshepo ya bodira ditshwantsho ba le bantsi e seng bone fela babogedi ba television di ale moa le batho ba ba dirisang mafaratlhatlha a mangwe a technology jaaka di computer le megala ya letheka go bona le go romela melaetsa.
Ha re sheba re fumana hore SABC e ka nna ya ba le ho fihla ho di kanale tsa television tse ka bang 18, ETV le yona e ka ba le 18, man le ena ka hlaha di television tsena tsa bosetšhaba tsa di-community le tsona di tla kgona gore di kene mono.
The digital era has liberalized us. So digital production costs se di ko fatshe. In the past, yes, that was the case. Acquiring a camera was very expensive. I mean, a camera would be the same as buying a house, buying an editing machine. We never even bought editing machines. We would go to editing facility houses and pay huge costs for making films. But now with the digital era, young people are able to buy small digital cameras. They're able to acquire small post-production machines to make their own films. So all what we do here is to train them to tell better stories, but then they become television entrepreneurs, electronic media entrepreneurs themselves.
It is frustrating to finish film school, not have a job, to be walking around, and that's what happened to myself, Fidel, and Scottness, how we started the company, because they referred to school and we're like, okay, and you have to go out there and start a company, and it's painful. You know, there's no rosy, red carpets. No, boss, it's tough, but you get there, and it's about staying in there.
Monyetla o mogolo wa bona gore ba tle ba lokise mengolo ya bona gore e re ha ho etswa diphephetso le dikgwehlo tse jwalo tsa gore ba romele ditshisinyo tsa bona ebe ba se ba le malala-a-laotswe.
Raditapo o tshwantshanya digital terrestrial television le mogolo o ntshang metsi.
Kgaso e tla jwalo e ka re e tsamaya ka ntho e ka reng peipi e ho kengwang ka hare melaetsa ya kgaso kapa ya dikgokahanyo tsa di-cell phone kapa ya data kapa ya jwale pipe eo e tletse hona jwale ka lebaka la hore kgaso e seng digital e nka sebaka se seholo ka hara peipi ena e go romelwa melaetsa ka yona.
We're getting there. You know, everything is changing. We're getting everything on the digital platform.
Content ke yona phephetso e kgolo kgaso ya DTT e tlo shebana le yona hobane di-channel tseo ho ke go ha etsala hore kaofela di le 18 di be le content e tla lekana.
Wandile o gatella gore le fa gone ditlhabololo di le mo tseleng boleng jwa tiro ya batsayakarolo mo go direng ditshwantsho e tshwanetse e nne ya maemo a kwa godimo ebile lefatshe le letetse go le gontsi go tswa mo Afrika Borwa.
In South Africa, you know, like there's a lot of things that are happening that actually encourage us we should go out there as filmmakers and start creating content.
South Africans can tell South African stories better than anyone else, and to tell those stories in ways which are engaging, compelling and deserve the cinema experience is good for the country and it's good for our business as well.
Story njengabantu bamnyama and ngifuna ukucontrola i-narrative yakhona.
Se different se leng gore ke tle go setsa mo the industry ke go thusa go empower basadi ba rona especially ba bantsho go bolla ditori tsa bona tsa mannete ene gore le bone ba kgone go nna mo film industry ba bolle ditori tsa bone ba dire ditoro tsa bone di ne nnete.
Sello Molefe o gapetse thoko dipego tsa gore ga go tlhokege dikolo tsa ditshwantsho mo nageng.
We need more film schools in South Africa. There is a demand for that. I mean, tell me of any industry where people are not developed. You go to medicine, there's people who are doing medicine professionally. You go to accounting, there's accounting institutes and stuff like that. We need, in fact, now we need more of these film schools to be professionalized so that we produce young people who are going to produce professional work.
That experience content from a different standpoint, you know. When they watch films, and if it's longer than 12 minutes, you know. And the reality is that we need to start grooming filmmakers that will accommodate that market.
A new breed of filmmakers will make films for a new audience. I don't know if more is the answer. I think better is the answer. So how do we focus on being really good at the writing level? How do we get really good at sound engineering and really good at film photography? Those things I think are going to make the difference because those things which you're competing on a global scale with.
Ebile Wandile o nagana gore gongwe matlo mahalagala a go bontsha ditshwantsho a tshwanelwa ke go busetswa metseseteropong jaaka go ntse mo dingwageng tse di fitileng.
I mean, AU2. I mean, my dad tells me about AU2 every other week. Like, when I say, why don't you go back to AU2? And I say, Papa, well, I mean, to rebuild it and to refurbish that cinema has been a dream of so many filmmakers. You know, and when you think of where AU2 is, like, it's just in the kokas, kamohar. It's not like you have to take a taxi or whatever. It's right there, you know.
So all of our cinemas are in shopping malls. So if there isn't a shopping mall in that area, it's very hard for us to put a cinema in. It's the way the economics of the business model work.
So there's a convenience thing about having a cinema where you are. And I think we miss those days. You know, there was a golden age of cinema where cinema was just around the block, and we need to rebuild that again.
The deployment of the planet's first robotic police units became the focus of the world in 2016.
Drop your weapons. You're under arrest.
Your little robot's a big problem for me.
A thinking robot could be the end of mankind.
Destroy that robot. If you want to survive, champion, you must fight.
Molebatsi o gapetse thoko maikutlo a gore badira ditshwantsho ba kwa ntle ba dirisa Afrika Borwa fela go fitlhella maitlhomo a bona ba le nosi.
It shows that there's an interest and support in terms of money to shoot in South Africa. And it's not even just about using our locations. They want to use our crew. Our crews are amazing. Our art directors are world class, you know. So that encourages productions to come and shoot in South Africa.
The worst thing that can happen to the local film industry is that people associate local films with being bad. You know, a 16-year-old boy walking into a cinema on a Saturday night has to choose between watching The Avengers or watching The Hangover or watching, you know, like a big Hollywood production or a local film. So he has to, you know, these local films have to compete on an international level.
Ka fa letsogong le lengwe Raditapo a re puso e gaketse e phatlalatsa didiriswa tse di tlong go dira gore batho ba mogela makhubu a di a le moya le television tsa boleng jo bo go godimo.
Letona kapa mmuso o fane ka di set-top boxes tse ka fitlang go 5 million tse etseditsweng gore batho ba khujwana di mahetleng ba sena menyetla ba tle ba tsebe gore mmuso o ba fe tsona mahala. Jwale ke tsona tse re tshwareng hona jwalo.
Maafrika Borwa a beile fela letsogo mo phatlheng go kgona go fitlhella dikanala di le mmalwa tsa boleng jo bo go godimo. Go ba dira ditshwantsho seno e tlile go nna tšhono e kgolo go bontsha tiro tsa bona.
Re kgathile temana ya lekgono a re kopaneng gape beke tlang ka 6 o'clock mathapa makalabone gona mo SABC 2 e fela pele re kgaogana go pola ge ba go na le ditaba tšeo le ratang gore di tšweletše. O ka re ngwalela go Leihlo la Sechaba @sabc.co.za goba wa romela fax go 086 613 1227. Gape o ka re etela go Facebook. Please, like our page on Facebook. Go kwa ka lenaneo la rena le latelang Theletša Lesedi FM, Motsweding FM le Thobela FM ka labone mesong go tloa ka iri ya senyane. Ga be khutšo le shebešebe go Maafrika Borwa ka moka.